This evening we're speaking to Frances Purcell. Frances is an entrepreneur in Brooklyn, and she's taken it upon herself to start to create an event where she is teaching young people how to be young people and how to grow up and become full-fledged adults. So she has created this cotillion, well, and she'll give you the name of it, but I mean, it's basically a cotillion thing where there are workshops and different activities for the young people leading into this cotillion. So, Francis, tell me about this event coming up and the dates.
It is St. Vincent Ferrer's first Debutante Cotillion Ball. And in preparation for this Debutante Cotillion Ball, we have designed a series of workshops which will prepare the young people to be tweens, teens, and young adults. It really empowers them for the life ahead of them. And we started off our workshops with a meet and greet, and because we have approximately 128 young people. So the first event was a meet and greet for the 13 to 16 to 19-year-olds. And that was immediately followed by a college application process. The application about scholarships that are available to them, how to look for scholarships, how to choose a major in college, and basic things like that. And we got a professor from Pace University and a professor from New York City Tech, one of them work in that area, to come and teach them and enlighten them on the process. And it was quite enlightening for the young people, because a lot of them did not even know how to begin, how to write an essay. They didn't know the things that they needed to put in there to catch the eyes of a person who reviews the applications. So it was a very informative session for the young people, and they asked a number of very, very interesting questions.
No, the cotillion is what it's called, right?
A debutante cotillion ball.
Okay, but the ball is not the focus of the whole.
No, the focus. Well, it is part of the focus, but what was more important to us was the journey for these young people, a spiritual, a social journey for these young people, and an educational journey for these young people. And I can tell you that we are halfway through the workshops, and it's been extremely informative. We had two workshops. One was called Basic Life Skills, and where we brought in somebody from one of the city programs who taught them about the abuse of over-the-counter medication. We had two great judges from the New York State Supreme Court, who were facilitators on anger management, conflict resolution. We had somebody from the Department of Health who talked about domestic violence. We had a police officer from the 6-7 precinct who talked to them about the do's and don'ts of cyberspace, of bullying. And so these are very informative sessions. We had a nurse practitioner from Kings County who talked to them about the importance of abstinence and the setbacks of teenage pregnancy and what it does to your life. And we had parents sign parental consent forms. And some of the parents sat in on those workshops. And they told us they learned from it.
Parents?
Yes, the parents sat in on some of the workshops. And they said that some of them said these were conversations that they wanted their kids, but they didn't know how to start it with them. So they're so thankful that they can get this in a secure environment like a church.
So this is you will call this a needed, much needed event activity?
Oh yes, absolutely. It is very needed. We have no idea how necessary these things are for our children. Next Saturday, we have our table etiquette workshop, and where the focus for the 1 hour is going to be on the setting of the setting of a table and what you do with each piece of flatware, how it's used, when you use it, how do you fold your napkin, because prior to that they had another etiquette session on table manners, how to build friendships, how to not get involved in gossip, how to be a good girlfriend, how to be a good boyfriend, and I mean platonic, not love, but romantic.
Well, no, are you going to do this every year?
It's too much work. I couldn't promise anybody to do this every year.
So maybe every 2 years?
Maybe every 4 years at best, every 4 years, because it's a commitment. it's a commitment that you have to make from January right through to the end of May. We had a couple of meetings for the parents and the participants, explain to them what the journey is, and explain to them the workshops that we have designed to prepare these kids for life. And that intrigued them. They loved the idea of the kids participating in a debutante cotillion ball, but they loved the workshops even more. You know.
So it's not just the ball.
No, it's not just the ball. The ball is just looking pretty one night, but we have everything that leads up to it. That's a preparation for these young people.
So you're starting in January.
It starts in January. We started the third week in January.
And you meet every Saturday?
And we meet every Saturday.
So, okay, give us the date of the ball.
Okay, so the cotillion is going to take place on Friday, May 27th. It's going to be held at the Astoria World Manor in Astoria, New York, and it will be from 8 o'clock to 1:30 a.m., and it promises to be quite an evening. It's going to be like a pageant, where they're not going to be, but it's not going to be a judging pageant. The girls are going to be, this is the debutante part of it, because the debutantes are girls between the ages of 16 and 19 who make their debut into society. They're presented to society, and they're presented by a lady in waiting who is somebody that they look up to and emulate in society. And then they're presented to their escorts, and the escorts then put them into the world. And then they before they go into the world, they do a final dance with their father. The girls do a final dance with their fathers. So the debutantes are the belles of the evening, or the ball, so to speak. And then, just as a bride has her flower girls and her junior bridesmaids and her bridesmaids, so we have all these little girls. We have the 4 to 8-year-old little girls who are the flower girls. And then we have the 9 to 12-year-olds who are the junior bridesmaids. And we have the 13 to 15-year-old who are the bridesmaids.
So then everybody who participated...
Everybody who's participated has a role to play on the night of that event. And we have, the event opens with our 4 to 8-year-old boys who sung the cotillion open with their horns and trumpets. And then it's followed by the flower girls who do a beautiful dance, telling you what the story of life for these debutantes. And then we have the junior bridesmaids and the junior groomsmen who are going to be doing a beautiful piece. And then we have the bridesmaids who are going to be doing a beautiful piece also, a tango, and Argentine tango they're going to be doing, which is a beautiful piece. And then we have the debutantes and the escorts who are going to be doing a ballroom piece. So it is quite an evening. It's quite a treat.
And so, okay, no, the ball, and I'm stuck with the ball. After we've put them out in the world, what next for them?
Good question. We hope to continue. We're going to have a post-debutante. We're going to have something post-debutante next year. It's not going to be as grand as this year because it's too much of a commitment for me. But we will have something for them, for the big ones.
But I'm thinking now that with the connections that they've made with all of the presenters at the workshops, that the networking that took place, yes, that they would
touched on that because 2 of the judges who were there have already offered 2 of the young people internships for next summer. So they've made very, very good connections with this whole through the workshops with the presenters. Right. Yeah.
And I know children tell you the truth.
Yes, they do.
Now, which one of them have come out and said, Frances or Auntie Frances or whatever they call you? I mean, I am so glad that you did this workshop.
Oh, they've told me that there's one young lady in particular. She's from East New York, and I'm particularly happy to have her. And when she came to look, because the mother said, "Oh, my daughter is not going to like things like that at all. She won't do it, and my daughter is this, and my daughter is that." And I said to her, "Let her come and look and make her own decision." And believe me, you would not believe the transition that this young lady has made. She's one of my favorite girls. She is already calling me Auntie Fran. She comes, she hugs me up, she sits next to me, and she told me she's absolutely enjoying this event. And her mother called me to tell me, thank you for inviting her daughter to be part of such an event. So for me, this is my reward. Right. Yeah.
I know you told me about a young man who the mother said that he was shy, that he was coming from a basketball game or a football.
Yeah, that young man, when I asked his mom to put him in, she told me that he was shy. And I said to her, well, still bring him, let him take a look at it. And she promised me that she would, but there was a conflict between his swimming class and his time slot for the rehearsals. So she said, well, she couldn't do it next time. But it so happened that she came to drop off her niece who's taking part. And the niece, but as he walked into the room, he just threw his jacket off and he said, Ma, hold my jacket. And he found his age group of boys. And as soon as he found them, he fit right in. And when he was finished, he said to his mom, he said, Ma, take me out to the swimming class. Take me to the swimming class because I want to do this. I want to do this. And believe me, he's having absolute fun. The mother is having so much fun. The mother already bought a whole table. Wow. Yeah, she bought a whole table.
And so now this ball is a paid ball, so people need to get information from you. How do they get in touch?
So you can call me at my number is 917-282-9405. And even if I don't take the call when you call, I'll return. Just leave me a message and I can give you all the information that you need about tickets and how you can get them and whatever else you need to know about the event.
And the event is taking place again?
On Friday, May 27th at the Astoria World Manor from 8 o'clock to 1:30 a.m.
No, you say you have 100 and how much?
128 young people.
That's a lot of children.
That's a lot of children. And you know something? It's like a schoolhouse. And we feed them every Saturday. We feed these kids a meal every Saturday. And, bless Father Gopal's heart, because he said to me, Francis, I want this to be a journey for these young people, a complete journey. So they come at 1 o'clock on Saturdays, and they leave at like 5. So we feed them a meal, a balanced meal.
What stuck out for you the most? What is it that really grip you? Which one of the stories of the children have really touched you?
Oh boy, I can't call names, but there's a young boy and a young girl, a 4.5-year-old and a 10-year-old girl. They lost their mom in October 2015 to breast cancer. And the daughter was one of the ones who said she didn't want to do the cotillion. And when she came on 2 occasions with her brother, she asked could she sign up, and I told her yes. And last weekend, we had one of the workshops that we had was the conflict resolution and anger management, and we had 4 different sets of presenters because we wanted to separate the 4 to 8-year-olds and the 9 to 12-year-olds, and both of the people who did it was trained social workers, LCSWs, and they were really good, and they came back to me. Immediately after, they came to me in the rehearsal room, and they said, I need to talk to you. And she said to me, I need to talk to you about 3 children in here. And I said, which 3? And she immediately pointed out 2 of them lost their moms, but the one who had recently lost her mom. So I went over and I hugged her, and I said, are you okay? Are you having a good day? And she broke down. And that really touched my heart because she said how much she missed her mom. But she's doing this for her mom because her mom would have really wanted to see her do this. So she wished that her mom can see her. And I said to her, yes, your mom is looking down on you and she will see you. So put your best performance forward. And so you get these stories. I mean, I have another young lady who's being raised by her cousin. Her mother is confined to a mental institution. And, it's such a nice outlet for these young people to get love and affection and warmth in an environment outside of home. So, and they've also, one of the main things that this cotillion has done, it's built some lasting bonds for young people. Yes. And it's good, in my opinion, because these kids build friendships with kids outside of their school peers who will not judge them, but who will just be able to enjoy their friendships for who they are. And you see these kids meet each other and they pick each other, and everybody has like a friend or two. And it's really a joy seeing these young people build these bonds. And I know these bonds will be lasting bonds because I see how they are. And they even protect each other already, you know. So this has brought me great joy. I mean, it's even choking me up, but I'm really delighted. And I wish more parents would have seen the journey and see how important it was for the young people. I don't know that we could have registered more than 128 people because we would not have had the bandwidth to handle it. Yeah.
No, but it has borne fruit so far. For you, and I'm making a statement. That there is a definite need for this sort of thing in our community.
There's a need, and I wish that more people could come together, because if we have more hands, it's something that we can do every year or every 2 years. Excuse me. There is a debutante ball that's held in Manhattan every year. It's an international debutante ball, and the registration fees are $16,000. $16,000. So you know who goes there. Yeah. So it is something that we need for our community, and it really, really, really enhances the life and the values of a young person.
Well, just by the shared networking capability, because as a young person and you get to meet a lawyer or a judge,
You don't ordinarily met in your life.
even a police officer,
Yes.
and that most of us, the only time we have any interaction with the police is when he's going to be arresting us.
Of course. So on a cordial basis, that you can have a police officer sit and chat with you and tell you the do's and don'ts and how important it is. And one of the things that I really enjoyed also is that the police officer and one of the judges told these young men, and they were really intrigued, the things that they need to do not to attract the police officers to them. And you know, it was they were happy to hear it because it was coming from a black cop and a black judge, so they could have related to it and not felt like it was a white police officer who wanted to. Yes, so I mean, the lessons that these kids have learned from these workshops are priceless.
And they've expressed that.
They've expressed that. Yes, they have expressed it, and the parents have expressed it.
So is the church going to do this again, let's say in the next 4 years?
Well, they'd love to. If I'm around, if I'm alive and I'm around, I'll definitely be a part of it. And I mean, as I said, I'd love to do it more often, but I can't. I've given up 6 months of my life every Saturday, you know, so you can't do that very often.
Anything else that you want to say?
Now, just to tell people what a journey it is, and to encourage them to come out and support the young people on Friday, May 27th.
But what happened to the dinners? And there's some,
Oh yes, I'm sorry. We have as part of the. Let me see. Okay, so we're having 2 formal dinners, and those dinners are really designed so the young people could showcase the things that they've learned from these etiquette sessions, from the table etiquette, and from the social etiquette. And it's going to be 2 formal dinners. It's going to be held in the church, and the church facility, and it's going to be fully set up nicely. The kids are going to be served 3-course meals. They're going to be waiters and waitresses serving the kids. They will have menu cards. They will have banquet tables set up, and the place is going to be beautifully transformed and decorated for their entertainment. And we've been able to secure 2 really great guest artists or guest speakers for the night. We have, for the younger ones, we have a young lady called Annalie Willabus, who is of Guyanese parentage, who is the youngest chapter book author in the United States. She's 9 years old, and she's a great young lady, and she wrote a book which was released last year, and she's going to be the guest speaker for the night. And she's going to just encourage her peers to read and how important reading is. And she's going to be for the 4 to 12-year-olds. And we have Professor M.K. Asante, who is going to be for the 13 to 19-year-olds. I don't know how many people know him, but I urge you to go read about him. He is a great, great story. He's only 33 years old, and he's a fully tenured professor at Morgan State University. and he wrote a great memoir book called Buck, which is that life is not just about hip hop, and it really tells, and he's going to really tell the young people on that night their dinner, the 13 to 19-year-olds, their dinner is on Saturday, April 30th, and he's going to really tell them the importance of reading again and how much reading liberates the young mind. So again, there's so much that the kids have to look forward to, and I'm really proud of what we've accomplished and what we've been able to do for these young people.
Tell them the phone number again.
917-282-9405.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. John Crow. And please do this again.
I don't know what I'm going to do again, but Frances Purcell, the coordinator of the Debutante Cotillion Ball and Cotillion Dinner coming up in April, we're encouraging you to keep watching Caribbean Classroom or check us out on Facebook and show your support. Young people getting information that they would not normally have or normally get unless it's some kind of a crisis. And so in our community, we need every help and every kind of support that we could possibly get. For John Crow, for Caribbean Classroom, thank you for watching and good night.